Today's writing tip comes from one of my personal goats within the writing game, Stephen Pressfield. And Stephen Pressfield puts out a free newsletter every Wednesday called Writing Wednesdays, which is where I got this from. And they're never very long, and they're always filled with morsels of goodness and writing gems and life lessons that I take away from them, and I hope you will too. This one is actually one of the longer ones, and it's only like a few paragraphs. So I'm just going to read the entire post. And as always, I will link to it in the episode notes so you guys can go to it directly, read it, check it out, reference it, etc., etc. And this one is titled Fear of Success, Anonymous. This is going to sound like a joke, but it's absolutely true. I once joined Fear of Success Anonymous, aka FOSA. This was in Los Angeles. Almost all the group members were actors or screenwriters. The group got so popular, it had to disband. I remember driving home from the final meeting thinking, I've got to solve this issue on my own. Fear of success, by definition, can never succeed. What keeps you and me from finishing a book, a startup, a screenplay? I think it's tribal. It's not our fault. It's in our DNA. Consider the caveman, the foot soldier of the primitive hunting band. This applies to the cave woman too. Remember, the tribal era constitutes 99.999% of our evolutionary time as human beings. In the tribe, the greatest terror was expulsion. Getting kicked out of the cave was a death sentence. What crime would get us expelled from the tribe? Standing out, being different. This makes sense, right? In a world of fearsome predators, the tribe was to stick together. You can't afford some crazy guy or gal who'd rather paint cave walls than stand all-night guard against saber-toothed tigers. That terror of expulsion resides in our bones. It doesn't matter that we now work at Google and live in a third-floor walk-up in Williamsburg. We're still scared to death of standing out, of being the tall stalk that gets lopped off by the workman's sheath. Our novel, our startup, our screenplay, what if it's really good? What if we ourselves actually possess talent? What if we're Lady Gaga? Oh my God, the tribe kicks us out and we get stomped to death by a woolly mammoth. Sounds ridiculous, I know. But I swear to God, that's the emotion that flashes across our unconscious as we tee up the PDF of the Elizabethan family saga we've labored on for 4 years, and our fingers pause over the send key. How do we do it? How do we overcome our terror of finishing? How do we beat our fear of success? The answer, again, can be nothing other than will. Somehow we have to teach ourselves to jam our eyes shut, suck in a deep breath, and jump off the cliff. And that's the post. It's pretty dope, right? I mean, first off, who the hell goes to Fear of Success Anonymous meetings? I've definitely never heard of that one. I know they have different ones, like obviously Alcoholics Anonymous. I've heard of Sexaholics Anonymous, drugs, obviously, where the drug one is, but definitely not Fear of Success Anonymous. And although I definitely appreciate this post and the sentiment behind it, the ultimate tip behind it, which is mustering up the will to get your shit done, which is like a constant theme throughout Stephen Pressfield's work, I see the concept or idea of like the fear of success as like I'm on the fence about it. I see it both ways. I see it as like an actual thing. Yeah, some people are, afraid of their own success and sabotage themselves, etc. But I also see it as kind of like a cop-out. And I can see how some people can just like not be as good as they might think they are or want to be. And for whatever reason, whether it's talent, whether it's discipline or lack thereof, or not putting in the work or experience, etc., but they're just not there. And then they just chalk it up to, it's because I'm afraid to succeed. It's kind of like a mental mind game, like a mental fuckery they play with themselves to like be okay with the fact that they haven't made it to where they want to be. So to me, and obviously just my opinion here, it's something that you would feel in the moment, this fear of success, but it technically can only be validated in retrospect. And I say that because you only know, I guess, after the fact, if it was like the fear of success or not, meaning like after achieving the goal, after writing that book, after starting that podcast, after getting that promotion, after losing the weight, after, fill in the blank with whatever goal you have. After the achieving of it is when you can validate that, I was, just afraid of this success. And that's what was like holding me back. But then on the flip side, if you never achieve that goal, was it really that? I guess at that point, it's like an eternal maybe, because I guess technically you can be afraid forever. But I guess ultimately the unanswerable question becomes, is it that fear that keeps you from achieving the level of success? Or is it something else, like the lack of talent, the lack of discipline, the lack of work ethic, or a combination of all of the above, or some of the above? So I guess you really can't answer it with a degree of certainty if you don't achieve. But if you do, if you muster up that will, that energy, that sucking in of the deep breath and jumping off of the cliff, as Pressfield puts it, and actually achieve the goal, achieve the success, then you can look back and pinpoint, oh yeah, see, it was the fear. I was just afraid of this shit. Or determine if it was, again, a combination of things. The fear, the lack of discipline, the lack of opportunity, etc., etc., etc. And that, folks, was this episode's writing tip, Fear of Success Anonymous by Steven Pressfield. I'll link to it in the episode notes so that you can check it out.